Let me check the connection. Let me check the connection. Okay, it's good, and the font size is also visible. Let's start in 2 minutes. So basically what we are going to do today is we are going to design this UI, and the top bar is there, then bottom bar is there, and you can see this cards. So these cards here, if you can see this animation, for these cards I'm using the swipe cards widget. So that's a Flutter plugin, and you can see that when I reject someone, when I like someone, there is a timed alert box. That's not a simple alert box. I have also given it some time. So after 1 second or 2 seconds, it will be gone. So let's say I like Christian. So like this, and okay, so left is rejected, sorry. So let's say I rejected Christian. So that's gone, and alert box is also there. So if I move this card to right, then you will see one more card. And if I just give him super like, that is at the top, so you will see you super liked. So the cards are gone. So it's totally up to you. If you are using database, if you have connected your application to database, then you have unlimited amount of these cards, right? So it is totally up to your database. It is totally up to you. So what I've done is I have taken some sample names of these 5 people, and I have put them in these cards. Then their name is there. Now it's totally up to you which all information you want to show on this card. You can have name, you can have his bio, you can have his location, you can have his university name, then you can also have his or her age, right? So it's totally up to you, and in this video I'm going to show you how you can, if you're a beginner, then it will be super helpful for you, because I'm going to show you how you can create beautiful UI using rows and columns. Then I'll be showing you the how to use a Flutter plugin, that is swipe cards plugin, and how you can like modify it according to you. Great. Where can I found a code? I would love to analyze it after live. Yeah, sure. I'm going to provide the code after this live session. The GitHub repository is ready, and I'm going to give you the link. Don't worry. So you can see that I'm using swipe cards plugin, and we are going to modify it. Then after I modify it, then it will be it will be super helpful for you to make your own changes. And you can also connect it with Firebase, and you can have a simple admin site, and you can add people, and that will be amazing, right? You can create your own Tinder application. So let's start. Okay, so first of all, I have shown you the thing what we are going to build is, and we are ready to code now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete everything from here, and we are going to code from the scratch, right? So let me just do it. So in the lib, I'm going to delete each and every folder whatever I have created, and we will be creating it from the scratch. So till widgets, let me just command delete, and everything is gone. Now let me just delete the main dot darts. Whatever there is in inside the main dot dart, I'm going to delete it, and we are going to start from the scratch. So first of all, as you know that we have to import material dot dart library, and let me just increase the font size so that if you are watching it on mobile phone, then it should also be visible there also. So first of all, let's import material.dart. And if you have any doubts, I'm on the live chat. You can directly ask me here itself, right? So material.dart I'm going to import, and then after that we have to define the main function. So void main function, and I'm going to define my app. So run app, and it will be new my app. Perfect. And let's put the semicolon, and now I can define my stateless widget. That will be nothing but my app. So let's define my app, and you can tell me if the font size is small, or if you are not able to view it, or you are not able to hear me properly, then you can tell me in the live chat. I'll try to solve that issue. And now it is my app. Now you know that this is going to be my first app, my first material app. That's why I have to return a material app. I don't have to return any widget, that is container or scaffold. First of all, I have to return a material app. Now inside this material app only, I can define my theme, I can remove the debug banner, I can define my home page. Everything will be happening in this material app, right? So first of all, I'm going to define a debug show checked mode banner as false because I don't like that red banner on the top right corner. So let's just remove it. Now what we can do is I want to have a theme and I'm going to keep the theme as light theme. So I can put theme data dot light, or I can just theme data dot light, or I can just define theme data, and inside that I can define brightness, and now I can define brightness dot light. Perfect. So let me just define a home now. So now we have to define a home. So that will be the first widget that will be rendered when my material app will be running. So let me just define a home, and inside that I can define my home. But this home is not yet created. So either I can create the home page here itself, or I can create a new file. So let's just create here itself because I'm going to create a single screen application only. So it's not necessary to create a separate file, but I am going to create a separate file and folders for my widgets, for my functions and all that. But let's create the home here itself. So this is going to be my stateful widget. Now, can you tell me why I'm defining stateful widget? The simple answer is that because when this card will be gone, I want to update the screen, right? That's a very simple answer. So that's why it will be a stateful widget. Okay, that cursor is gone. So let me just create a stateful widget again and let me name it home. Perfect. So this is my home page and I have defined it stateful because I want to update the screen when my card is gone, right? So here I can define a scaffold, and inside that scaffold only I will define my body, or if I want to define an app bar, I can define that, right? So let me just define, or let me just return a scaffold, the simple scaffold. Now in this scaffold I can have an app bar, but let me just save it. Let's see what we have built till now. So if you'll see, there's the blank white screen because nothing is there inside my scaffold. So inside this scaffold I can define an app bar, but I don't want that app bar because if I'll use that same app bar that Flutter provides, I have to remove the elevation, I have to make some changes. So let me just create a custom app bar only. So what I'll do is I'll not define any app bar, I'll just define a body. Now in this body I can define a container. So let me just define a container, and inside this container I can define a child, and in this child I can define a column, and in this column I can define some children, and here I can define all the app bar, the center widget, the bottom buttons and everything, right? So, and if you have any doubts you can ask me. And now I'm going to create a sized box, and inside this sized box I can create a height, and I can give some height as, let's say, 70. So this will be nothing but the top margin or top padding from the top, so that it should not be touching to the top part of my mobile screen, right? So this is my sized box, and after that I'm going to create a container. So let me just create a container, and in this container I'm going to create a height, and let's keep the height as let's say 70, and let me just create an expanded after that, and inside this expanded I'm going to create a container, and this container, after this container I'll be creating one more container that will be my bottom bar, right? So let me just keep its height as, let's say, around 120. So if I'll just save it, you will not be able to see anything because I have not defined any colors to my containers. So what I'll do is I'll give some colors to my container. So let's say this is my first top bar. So I'm going to give it some color as, let's say, colors dot blue, right? And this is my expanded, that is my center widget. So I'm going to give it some color as, let's say, colors dot red. And let me just give the color to the bottom bar also. So let me just give it some color as, let's say, colors dot green. So if I just save it, you can see there is a top bar, there is the center widget, and there is the bottom bar widget. Simple, right? So using expanded, you can see that I have covered the complete height of the screen that was available to me, right? After giving some height to this top bar and after giving some height to this bottom bar, right? So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a folder, because you will see that if I'll just design over here only the top bar and the bottom bar, then it will be very much messy, right? So I should be creating a separate folder, and you can watch my Flutter project structure video if you don't know which like what folder name I should give, or what all folder should I create in a Flutter application. You can watch that video. So I'll create a folder called widgets, right? And I'll also create a folder called functions that I'll be using afterwards. And I also create one more folder called utils. That's nothing but my utilities, right? So in this utilities, I keep my colors, I keep some constant values if there are any, and all that stuff, right? So what I'm going to do is, first of all, in the widgets, I'm going to create two files. So my first file will be top bar, or I can say app bar dot dart. And I can create one more file called bottom bar dot dart. Perfect, right? So in this app bar, I can create a widget that will be holding the UI for my top bar. And inside this bottom bar, I can create one more widget that will be holding the code for this bottom bar, right? So in this app bar, let's create a widget, and I'm going to call that widget as top bar, right? So let me just do it. So here also we have to import material.dart, and let me just create a stateful widget only, and let's say I want to name it as top bar. So I cannot name it as app bar because app bar is a widget of Flutter, so I cannot name it an app bar. That's why I'm going to name it as top bar, right? So in this top bar, I can have a container, I can have anything, right? So what I'm going to do is, inside this container, I'm going to create a height. Let's say height of 70, and I can give it some child. Now you know that the top bar is going to have a row, the row of buttons. So I'm going to give it a row children, and I'm going to keep it empty for now. And let me just give it again colors dot blue. And in the main dart, I'm going to remove this container, and I'm going to call my top bar. Now the same thing I'm going to do it for my bottom bar. That's why I'm going to copy this container, or I'm going to cut this container, and I'm going to paste it over here. So let's import material.dart, then let's create a stateful widget. Let's call it bottom bar, and now I'm going to return that container. And over here in the main.dart, instead of writing that container, I'm going to call that bottom bar. Perfect. So nothing is going to change. Everything is going to remain as it is. Now let's start designing. So first of all, I'm going to start with my bottom bar.dart, right? So let's do it. So inside this, you can see the height is 120. Now again, it is going to have a child, row, children. And now I want a simple button, that is circular button I want, so that it should look good. So I'm not going to create that button again and again, because you know that in the Tinder app, the bottom bar is having 5 buttons. So I don't want to create those 5 buttons again and again. So what I'm going to do is, I am going to create a sample widget. And you can see that I'm creating that widget outside this class, so that I can call that widget from the app bar also and from any file also. That's why I'm keeping that widget outside the class. So I'm going to call it widget, and let's call it button widget. Button widget. And this is going to take some parameters, that is nothing but some icon, the icon that I want to keep inside that circular container. So it will be icon data icon, and the color of that icon. So color, and I'm going to return a container. So let's return a container. Now inside this container, I want to give it some height, let's say 60, and I'm going to give it a width, let's say 60. And then I'm going to give it some decoration. And inside this decoration, I want to define it the shape. The shape I will define it as circle. So box shape dot circle. And now what I'm going to do is the color of this box will be white. So after the shape, the color of this box will be colors dot white, and it will be having some border. Don't worry, everything will be clear when you will see the output. So it will be border dot all color, and the color that we have taken as the parameter. So it will be color. Now it will be having a child. The container will be having a child. So let's give it child, and child will be an icon, and the icon that I have taken as parameter, and it will be having some color, the same color that we have taken as the parameter, and it will be having a size of 30. So our custom button widget is ready. Now our aim is to just call that button widget again and again. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to call that button widget. So let's call button widget. This is my first button, and it is going to be the refresh icon. So my icon will be icons dot refresh, and the color is nothing but colors dot amber. So it looks something like between orange and yellow, right? So this looks good. And if I just save my, okay, let me just refresh it. I can see my refresh button is over here, right? Perfect. Now what I want to do is I want to call this button widget again and again. So let's do it. And let me just go to view, then word wrap, so that you can see whatever is there on the screen. So let me just put a comma. And now if I just save it, you can see 5 icons are over here. So in the row, I can define one thing, that is main axis alignment. So my main axis alignment will be main axis alignment dot space evenly. And now I can just save it. You can see all these icons are evenly spaced now, right? Now I'll change the icons. So my second icon is going to be of type close. That is reject button. So close. My color will be red. The third icon is going to be star, that is super like, and the color will be blue. My fourth button is going to be favorite, that is a heart icon, favorite outline. It is favorite, favorite outline, and the color is going to be pink. That is a like button, that is if you have liked someone. So this is a favorite button. And the next thing is bold, that is if you want to buy their premium plan and all that. So the color is going to be purple. And now if I just hit Ctrl S, you can see all these icons are looking great. And let me just remove the green color, and let me just save it. You can see all these bottom icons are looking awesome, right? So here I've used main axis alignment dot space evenly, so that all my bottom icons are evenly spaced. Now our bottom widget is looking great, and now it's our turn to create the top app bar. So let me just go to app bar, and in the children, you can know that I have defined the same thing, and in the row also I'm going to define main axis alignment dot space evenly. And over here also in the children, I'm going to call that button widget. Like I think there are 4 buttons on the top bar, so I'm going to call it 4 times. But I think that between, like after one button widget, I'm not going to have. I'm going to have one more widget called image widget. So let me just show you what I'm going to do. So first of all, let me call 2 button widgets. Button widget. The icon is going to be icons dot star, and the color will be it is going to be colors.ember. That's the same yellow between that's a color between yellow and orange. So colors.ember. The next icon or the next button widget is going to be my notifications icon. So let me just create icons dot notifications, simple notifications, nothing else. And the color is going to be around, like, it will be a grayish color. So colors dot gray dot shade, I can give it around 400 shade. So let me just save it, and you can see these two buttons are at the top. Now I want a Tinder logo in between, and I want one more, that diamond kind of button, that is buy their premium plan or upgrade the Tinder plan, such kind of that, right? So let me just do that. So for that, you know that I have created a button widget, right? So now what I'm going to do is, in the app bar, I'm going to create one more widget called image widget, because if you'll go to my assets, you can see that I have some images. So that's the diamond icon, that's these people. I'm going to show you where I'll be using these people. That's the custom images, just random images, and this is the Tinder logo, right? So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create a widget called image widget, and I'm going to use those icons, that is diamond icon and the Tinder logo, to create my button. So let's go to app bar, and inside this I'm going to create a widget. I'm going to create image widget, and if you have any doubts, you can ask me. I'm on the live chat, you can ask me directly. So I'm going to create an image widget, and this is going to take the asset link, that is the asset location, right? So it will be string image, and over here I'm going to return a container. So return a container, and inside this container it is going to be little bit same, because it is going to have a shape of circle. So let me just create it, and all your doubts will be cleared once you will see the output. So let's just create box decoration, and inside this box decoration I'm going to have a shape. This will be box shape dot circle, and after that I'm going to have a decoration image. So inside this decoration I'm going to create an image. Image is just a parameter, and that will be decoration image. So it will be taking the decoration image, and it will be taking the asset image, because you know that all my icons and images are present in my asset folder, and the location will be image. Perfect. And I want to do one more thing, that is a parameter called fit, so that it should not look absurd, right? So it will be box fit dot cover. Yes, perfect. And this container should be having some height and width, and that should remain constant. So I'm going to give it a height of 50, and I'm going to give it a width of 50. And one more thing, in my pubspec.yaml, I have already imported my assets. You can see assets, asset slash. So whatever widget or whatever image or fonts will be there in my assets folder, they will be automatically imported. Perfect. So now let's go to app bar, and it's time to call this image widget, right? So let me just see. So I'm going to call image widget, and my first one will be assets slash, and let me just see what is the image name I have given to my logo. So images.jpg. Okay, so this is my Tinder logo. So images.jpg. Perfect. And now let me just save it. So you can see the Tinder logo, but it is not looking that cool. So let me just see what we can do. Okay, so here is the height, it is 70, that's perfect. Okay, I think when we will remove this blue color, that time it will look good. So let me just remove this blue color, and let me just save it. Okay, and now the image widget will be okay, so this bottom widget, yes. So this bottom widget should be before that, and my Tinder logo should be in between. So that's not a problem, you can arrange it as you want, that's totally up to you. And next image widget will be that diamond widget. So image widget, and my next location is going to be, okay, there is a question from Mohammed. Bro, can you teach how to make responsive mobile screen UI using media query and make a UI using media query? So you want me to cover that inside this tutorial, or you want me to create one more tutorial for that? specially devoted to that tutorial? You can just tell me. So I'm going to create assets slash images, that is image one. So let me just see. You can see the diamond. Okay, so here is my diamond widget. So I'm going to call it that's okay, app bar, and now it will be diamond dot png. How can how we can give margins, paddings, and text size responsive? Okay, I think your answer is like, how can we give the paddings and margins responsive to the mobile screen? Or let's say if my mobile screen is large, then it should be responsive to that, and if my mobile screen is small, then it should be responsive to that. So what you can do is you can define your, don't define the paddings margins as a constant numericals, like 30 size box height or like 20 padding. Don't do that. Do one thing, take a height variable and store the height and width of the mobile screen, and now divide that height by some parameter. Let's say, let me just give you an example. So let's say my height of the mobile screen is h, and you want to give, and you are seeing that on giving the padding as h by 30, your mobile screen or the app screen is looking great. So this h by 30 will remain constant everywhere, and it will be responsive to each and every mobile screen. And if you will just run this thing on your web screen also, that your web part also, Flutter web, then also it look good, right? So try to give it, don't give the constant values as 30, 20 or 10. Divide the height and width by some variable that is looking good on your mobile screen. That you can do. Okay, I'll try to cover this in this tutorial itself. Okay, so now let's proceed further. Diamond.png, let me just save it. So here is my diamond.png. Now what I want to do is I'll give this button widget, I'll keep this button widget at the top. Perfect. And my Tinder logo and my diamond is in between. So I was telling that that you were asking to give padding and margin as responsive, that I can cover in this tutorial itself. Yes, I can do it. So now let's move on to the center part where the cards of the people will be visible, right? So for that thing, I want to show you that I will be using this swipe cards plugin. So you don't have to, you can go through this documentation, but if you think that this will be boring, then you can just watch this tutorial till end and you will be comfortable by using this widget. So you can see how this developer has created this widget. The color is there, the color name is written, and you can just swipe it from left, right, or you can just give it super like, so that will be swiping it to the top, right? So this we are going to build it, and we will be using this widget to build the Tinder cards, right? Okay, that's great, Isha. If you're coding this along with me, that will be great. You will not be having any doubts, or if you will be having any doubts, you can ask me. That will be great. And I'm also going to provide you the code, so you can refer it afterwards. Great. Okay, now it's time to code the center part. So let me just go to main.dart, and you can see the top bar is there, the bottom bar is there, and in between we are having the expanded. So now everything that we are going to do is will be inside this expanded widget, right? So inside this expanded widget, you can see I've given colors.red. So I'm going to remove it, and let's keep it simple container, the empty container, right? Now let's start coding. So first of all, what I have to do is I have to define some variables. I have to store some values, because all these people, you can see these images and their names, where will they go? I have to define it, right? So inside my class, I'm going to define first of all a list of swipe item. So the swipe item is nothing. You can see in my pubspec.yaml, I have defined this swipe cards widget. You can see I've already imported that swipe cards plugin. So I'm using 0.1 version, and whenever you will be watching this video, it may be updated. So it's totally up to you, right? So which version you want to use. So this swipe card widget is having a class that is called swipe item. So we have to call that swipe item. So whatever list I'm creating right now will be swipe item type. So all the elements inside this list will be of type swipe item. So let's call this as swipe items. And now I'm going to give it an empty list, and this list will be of type swipe item, and let's give it empty. Let's keep it empty. Perfect. Now one more thing or one more class we have to import, that is called match engine. So this is also present inside my swipe cards plugin. So this match engine is going to take care of your match. Let's say you like someone, that means or you dislike someone, or you give a super like. So this everything will be handled using match engine, right? On swiping it to the left, on swiping it to the right, on swiping it to the top, everything will be matched. Uh, Everything will be managed by this match engine. So there is a question by Rohan. Will you be covering only single screen or full apps UI? So I'm going to create this single screen, and I'm going to show you how you can swipe the cards, and rest of the things you can also code it by your own, because this is in the Tinder app. If you'll see, the main screen is only this screen. Other screens are like notification screen or your profile screen. They are quite easy, right? You can create it by your own. But by designing this main screen, that is swiping and all that, it will be great, right? The main thing is in this home screen only. Okay, so now let's move further. So match engine, and let's call it match engine, and let's keep it empty. And now what I want to do is I'll define a simple list of names of people. So this list will be of type string, and some people, what beginners do is they don't write this type. So it's okay, it is not going to give you any error, but sometimes it may give you an error and you will not able to find also what mistake you have done. So always give this title, sorry, the type, right? So what's the error in this list? List swipe items, swipe items is equal to swipe items. So what is the error? List is not a type. Try correcting. Okay, list is not a type. That's weird. Okay, let's see further. So list string, and it will be let's keep it. So what error I'm getting? So this is weird now. Unexpected is equal to, okay, okay, I have not given the name. Yeah, that's the issue. Names is equal to this. Perfect. Now the error is resolved. That was a silly mistake. Now let me just give the first name of the person as Andrews. The second one, let's keep it Master G. Master G. Let's keep the third name as Kristen, because now let's give it the fourth name as Grammys, and let's keep the last name as Alex GH. Alex GH. Perfect. So this is the name of the list of people that I'm going to use right now. Now I can also define a list of the images. So whatever images I'm having, but let's keep it for further part. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create an init state function. List as give name to the list string. Okay, yeah, Rohan, got it. Yeah, that I corrected. Thanks. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create init state. Okay, so where is my init state? Yes. So let's create it manually only. It is not giving me this suggestion. So I'll create at override, and after that I'll create a void init state function. And now what I'm going to do is, why I'm defining the init state function. So I'm defining the init state function so that whenever my app is loaded, I want to append this list with my swipe items. So that's why you just see now, I will be defining a for loop, and it will be int I is equal to 0. Then it will be I less than names dot length, name I less than names dot length. That means it is going to iterate through this list, and it is going to run the for loop according to the number of items that are there in this names, right? So I plus plus, and now I'm going to append the swipe items list. So swipe items dot add, and my value will be swipe item, and in this swipe item, what I'm going to do is I'm going to define some content. So for that, I'm going to create a class content. Over here, let's create. So the content inside my swipe card will be, let's keep a simple text. Let's create a simple, so it will take a final string null check, and let's call it text, and let's create its constructor. So content this dot text. Perfect. So we have created the constructor, and now what I can do is I can append my swipe item with my content. So let's do it. So it will be taking the content as my content, and my content takes text. So what will be my text? Text will be names at I. So names at I. So whatever name we are having at this location, that is I index, I'll be appending that to my content. So I hope now it will be visible. So let's do one more thing. So I've appended the names, the content. Now what I will do is, after this content parameter, we also have some more parameters. Now my first parameter is like action. Like action. So whenever you are going to like a card, or you are going to swipe it to the right, so what should happen? If you swipe it to the right, to the left, what should happen? And if you give it a super like, then what should happen? So for now I'm going to just keep it empty. So like action is empty. And we have a nope action, that is you dislike someone or you reject someone. So let's keep it empty again, and we are going to show an alert box afterwards, but let's keep it empty for now. And now let's give it a super like action, and let's keep it empty for now. Perfect. So here we have defined these actions. Now after that, what we have to do is we have to define a match engine, or we have to modify the match engine. So what I'll do is I'll write match engine is equal to match engine, and the swipe items will be my list. So it will be swipe items. So whatever actions we have defined over here, they will be applied to this swipe items list, right? So this is the meaning of this match engine. Perfect. Now you need to write super.init state. Perfect. Now let's define the main expanded container. So here you can see expanded, and to this child, the container, it will be having a child, and to this child I want to give it a swipe cards widget. So I'll call it swipe cards widget, and to this first parameter that we have to give is match engine. So my match engine is nothing but my match engine. So by giving this match engine, what will happen? We have to give a null check. So there is the null check. So what will happen is all these containers or all these swipe cards will be getting matched with this swipe item. So what is there in my swipe items? All these people are there in my swipe item. So perfect. So now after this match engine, we have to define item builder. So for every person, whatever person we have defined, I want to build a widget. So let's give it, for that we have to define item builder, and we have to give it some build context and the index. And now, so swipe cards, okay, on stack finish, yes, we will define that. So item builder, and now I'll return one more container. So if you have any doubts, you can just write in the live chat. Return a container, and now I'll define it some decoration. So that card that you can see card, that should be rounded from the corners. So for that thing, I'm defining box decoration, and to this box decoration, I'm going to give it border radius dot circular, and let's keep it 10. And now I'll also give it some padding. Padding will be edge insets dot all, and let's keep it padding, let's keep it 20. And now let's give the color. Now let's give it simple color as colors dot red. So each and every card will be red color, and I'll create the other UI. First of all, let's see what we have built till now. Then after that, we will add the image and the name of that person. So for that thing, after this swipe cards, we also need to define one more parameter, that is on stack finish. So let's say if my stack is finished, then what I want to do is, so I'll define a simple function, and that function will be, let's say I want to return a scaffold messenger or anything. Let's say I want to return a scaffold messenger. That means from the bottom, a messenger should come and it should tell that the list is over. So in the child, I'll keep it a simple, okay, scaffold messenger dot off context dot show snack bar, and it will be a snack bar. The content will be the simple text, the list is over. The list is over. So everything is ready and we are not getting any errors. Let me just save it. And the app is crashed because we have not defined, we did not run the init state. So let me just run the app again. So let's wait. So till then, if you are stuck somewhere, you can directly ask me. Okay, so what we have is color is equal to null. So let me just see where we are having. Okay, yeah. So if we have defined the decoration, we cannot define the color separately. So we have to keep the color inside. Yes, perfect. So you can see the red card, and you can see that each and every card is of red color now. But what we want to do is we want to have the image of the person, right? So what I'll do is I'll go to my utils. Yes, and over here I'm going to create a file called constants.dart. Constants.dart. And over here I'm going to give a list of images, and first image will be my assets slash, let me see all the images. Okay, so we have this person, let's call it image1.jpg. The second one will be assets slash images slash, sorry, images not, it is image2.jpg, image2.jpg. My third one, let's copy it again and again. So let's copy, let's paste. The third image is png, so let's call it image3.png. Image 4 is jpeg, and now the last one, image 5, is jpg. So it will be assets slash image5.jpg, and let me just save it. Perfect. Now let's go to main.dart, and over here you can see the decoration. Let me just close the other files. Yes, you can see this decoration. Now inside this decoration I have to define image. The decoration image, the image will be the asset image, and it will be images, the images list that we have just created at index. And one more thing, the fit parameter. So I'll define fit, fit will be boxfit.cover. Boxfit.cover. Let me just save it. You can see this person. Let me just refresh the app. So we have this person over here. Left swipe, right swipe, left, right, and all that. You can see it's happening perfectly. Perfect. So now what I want to do is, two things are left. No, this is not a recorded session. You can ask me questions directly also. I'm live. So now what I want to do is, yes, first of all, the name of this person should be over here, right? So I'll define container. The container will be having a child. So let's define a child, and the child will be a column, I am defining a column because it is totally up to you, because I'm just keeping the name, but you can keep the age of the person, then you can keep the what we can say, the bio of the person, the location of the person, university of the person, anything, if you are creating a Tinder app by your own, right? So this column is going to contain first of all children. Then in the children I want to keep it text, and the text will be nothing but my names at index. So names is the list of people which is having the string names, and I'll be calling the names at index. And let me just save it. So you can see if it is visible to you, but I know that it will not be visible. So let me just increase the font size. So text style, let's keep the font size as 32. And let's give it some colors.white. So you can see, and now let me just give it some font weight also. Font weight, let's say font weight dot bold. And you can see that name is at the top. So what I'll do is in the column I'll define main axis size. Main axis size as main axis size dot minimum. And one more thing, in this container I'll define the parameter called alignment, and it will be alignment dot bottom left. So alignment dot bottom left. Perfect. You can see the name over here, and inside this column you can add the age, you can add location, anything. It's totally up to you, right? So I'm just keeping it Andrews, only the name over here. So if I just make it left swipe, right swipe, you can see the animation, it's cool, right? So everything is handled by the swipe cards widget. And now what we want to do is I can define the like action, I can define the nope action, I can define the super like action, everything I can define. So for that thing, it's totally up to you. When you will be connecting your database, then what you have to do is, if someone likes someone, then you have to update your database that this guy liked this girl, right? If someone rejects someone, then you have to again update that database, right? But now what we will do is we will show a simple timed alert box. So that alert box should come, it should come for just a second or 2 seconds, and then it should be gone. So for that thing, I'll be defining a function. Okay, so inside this function, I'll create alert function. And over here, what I want to do is I'll be creating an actions function, and it will take the build context, because I want to show the alert box, and alert box needs a context. So build context, and it will take the string of the name, the person whom I have liked or disliked or given him the super like. So string name, and just a second, I think it is not visible. Yes, string name. And the third parameter, I'm going to take the type. So type is nothing but like, dislike, and super like. So three types I'm having, and it is going to show a dialog. The context will be context, and now we have to define the builder. So builder will take the context, and now let me just put a semicolon, and let me just go to view, then word wrap. Perfect. Inside this return, what I want to return is, first of all, I'll have a time. So future.delayed. That means the alert box should only be there for 1 second. It should not be there for more than 1 second. So future.delayed, then duration. Duration I can add as in the form of seconds as 1 second. And after that I can, okay, so what is the error? Yes, we have this duration, and yes, now we need to define a function. Let's put a semicolon. Yes. After this, what I'll do is, after 1 second I will navigator dot pop. So if I will not write this, then my alert box is not going to go anywhere, right? So this alert navigator dot pop context is only removing the alert box after 1 second. So navigator dot off context, sorry, it will be navigator dot of context dot pop as true. Perfect. And now what I'll do is I will define I'll return the alert dialog, sorry. And in this alert dialog, I'm going to have the content and I'm going to have the title. So let's first of all keep the title. So the title will be a simple text, and the text is going to be $, the type. That means the type is going to contain liked, disliked and super liked. So it will be you liked someone, you disliked someone, you super liked someone, like this, right? So that's why. So after that it will be $, again, and it will be the name of the person whom you have liked. Let's say you liked Andrews, so you liked Andrews, like this, right? You can understand it, right? It's pretty simple. Now after that, let me just give it some styling. Style, text style, and in this text style I'll keep the color, or let me just give it some let's say I'll define color as colors.red for now. But you can think that liked, super liked and disliked should not be having the same color, right? They should be different. So I'll write a condition. So my color condition will be if my type is equal to liked. So if my type is equal to liked, then I want to keep the color as pink. So colors dot pink. If my type is equal to rejected, then my color will be colors dot red. And otherwise, that means if someone has super liked someone, then my color will be blue. So let me just save it. And now what I'm going to do is I am going to go in my main.dart, and in this like action I'm going to call that function. So I forgot the name of that function. It is actions. Okay, so let me just call actions. Context, the name is names at index, I think. Yeah, sorry, and the type will be this is like, so it will be liked action or liked type. And the same way I'm going to call the actions function in my nop action. So action will be actions, the function will be actions, name will be names at I, and type will be rejected. Okay, if you have any doubt you can ask me. And the last one will be actions, the context, name will be names at I, and my type will be super liked. Perfect. Now let me just save it and let me just refresh it. So if I just, perfect, you can see you rejected Andrews and it was there for 1 second. If I like, you liked Master G. If I super like, then you can see you super liked. If you reject, like this, like this. Perfect. And you can see at the bottom the list is over. Perfect. I hope everything is clear till now. Now you can see that the alert box is pretty empty. It's just a text. So I want to add a button also, or not a button, just a simple icon. So what I'll do is in this alert box, I want to keep it content. The content is a parameter, and in this content I want to again call my button widget. So like if you are watching this tutorial from the starting, you will be knowing where is my button widget. Can anyone tell? So my button widget is nothing, but it is at bottom bar. So you can see this button widget. So this button widget is nothing, but it is the widget at this bottom. So these are the icons, right? So in this alert function also, I want to call that button widget. I want to show that button widget. The icon. So what will be my icon? So if my type is equal to liked, then my icon will be icons.favorite. And my color will be colors.pink. Icons.favorite. So what is the error? Okay, yeah. So let me just do it. Yeah. Now if my type is equal to rejected. Then my icon will be icons dot close. Otherwise, that means if I super like, then my icon will be icons dot star. Now the same logic we have to write it for colors also. So I'll do nothing, but I'm going to copy this same thing. Control C. Then where is my color? Yes, paste it over here. Now it's the time to check our final result. Let me just refresh it. So yes, you rejected, you liked, you super liked. Okay, so here we are having you liked. It should be super liked, right? Yeah, it is great. It is doing perfectly. Yeah, super liked, you super liked. Perfect. So I think our app is doing perfectly its job. Now it's totally up to you. You want to connect it to a database, you want to design all these screens. So these screens are pretty much simple, right? So let's say you want to design a premium screen. So you can define whatever plans you're offering for the premium plan and all that. For the notification, if someone likes you, then you can give it a notification. Then you can design a profile screen. That's your task, right? So my task was to just give you the main idea how things actually happen. So let me just make it a commit, and this code will be updated on my GitHub, and you can refer the repository if in future you feel that some error is there or you are not getting some point, right? So let me give it final commit. Perfect, and it is pushed to the GitHub repository. Now I'll paste the link in my description also, but you can check out my GitHub in the repositories, and you will see this Flutter Tinder UI, and you can see it is updated now. That is updated 11 seconds ago, and this is my updated GitHub repository for this code. You can refer it, and you can just enjoy, right? So I hope you like this tutorial, and if you have any doubts, thanks Maheshwar for that comment. I liked it. And now if you have any doubts, you can ask me, or otherwise we can close this live. And if you have any doubts, you can reach out to me on the Discord channel, and you can also reach out to me on my Instagram. So that's it guys. I hope you like this, and it's time to close this live session. If you have any doubts, can you cover the media query with the UI? Okay, so let me just give you a simple example. So media query is nothing but the height and width of my mobile screen. So let me just show you. Okay, so let me just show you in the main.dart. What we have done is we have defined a container. Now let's say you don't want that container should take the complete height. So first of all, what you have to do is you have to define your W and H, that is your width and height respectively. So your var W will be media query dot of context dot size dot height, sorry, dot width. So what is happening over here is media query just refers to the size of your mobile screen. So what I'm doing is media query dot of context means the reference of the current screen, dot size, that means take the size of my mobile screen, height and width, and inside that I want to call a width. So this width will be assigned to my W, right? And in the same way I will be defining var h, and the rest of the things is going to remain same, that is still size. And let's paste it over here, and now I'll refer the height. So my var W is having the width of my mobile screen, and my var h is having the the height of my mobile screen, right? Now let's say in this container what I want to do is I just want the half height of my mobile screen. So what I'll do is I'll define height, and it will be h by 2. Simple. And let me just save it. So you can see it is only having the half height of my mobile screen. In the same way I can also define width as W by 2, that is half width of my mobile screen. You can see it is over here. So it will be giving me error because my buttons are a little larger, right? So this is just a simple concept of media query. So if you want to learn more, I can create a separate tutorial for that, right? I suggest your tutorial. Yeah, that's great, Maheshwar. That's great. Perfect. That's totally great. And now, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Otherwise, we can wrap up the session. I hope you all liked this tutorial, and if you want more tutorials, you can write me in the comment section that you want such tutorials in the future also. Right? So, best of luck, guys. Till next content, keep coding, keep innovating, and thanks a lot.